Welcome to Provitalks, where nature and science blend to inspire you. Discover the latest in technology, sustainability, and trends in the cosmetics world, thanks to Provital. Let's care together for our industry's commitment to the people and the planet. Provital. Do care.
Welcome to Care Tools, a special category of Provitalks, your go-to podcast for insights into the ever-evolving beauty industry. I'm Clara, and today we have the pleasure of having Provital's Global Beauty Trends Manager, Anna Balaguer, with us. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Yes, delighted to have you here to share your expertise and the latest trends in the global beauty marketing here again. Well, I'm especially excited for the trends and concepts that we will be covering today, if I'm being honest. So much innovation behind. So, well, Anna, let's get started. Or like you always say, fasten your seatbelts because we will be flying all over the cosmetics world today. Anyway, I was saying that innovation is something that we will be having in a very present manner in our conversation today. But what I didn't say is that I find it amazing when innovation comes from something that has been always there, though unseen. Let me explain myself. In today's dynamic global landscape, it is increasingly evident that the world operates as one colossal interconnected network fueled by large amounts of data. Information flows seamlessly across continents, fostering a sense of shared experiences and collective consciousness. The ripple effect of environmental, economic, or social events illustrate the profound impact of interconnectedness. However, just as the world operates as a vast interconnected network now, in the intricate complex fabric of an ecosystem, plants, animals, and microorganisms have been doing that for thousands and thousands of years. And those interkingdom symbiotic relationships are essential for the balance and vitality of the entire system. At Provital, we have mirrored that big data's ubiquitous presence in the modern world with the horizontal gene, molecule, and enzyme transfer of the interkingdom relationships to create a new platform and the new concept that integrates it all. I'm talking about the newest Triplobiome Technology, a breakthrough biotech platform actually that uses plant endophytes as a sustainable and effective source to produce new active ingredients. Well, for those who don't know, endophytes are symbiotic microorganisms that live inside plants, promoting beneficial effects on their growth and development. So anyway, the idea behind it is that any ingredient created through this technology will be like an ecosystem for the user's skin, promoting like a new kind of skin intelligence, just like an endophyte does with a plant. So Anna, have you seen any approach similar to this in the final product market? Is the cosmetic consumer already interested in this kind of branded technologies?
Of course, Clara. And not only we are witnessing all this interest, not only in the beauty industry, but also, for example, in the food industry. All these new biotech technologies that are constantly appearing on the market are more sustainable and help to kind of concentrated, they are kind of concentrated source of certain actives. For example, an example of this vertical is the vertical farming that Shiseido is using to produce in a very controlled environment plants from around the world. Even though it's Shiseido, it's based in France, all this vertical farming. This is something that, for example, I saw in Japan when I went there in November in a restaurant. They were using all this vertical farming to produce all the vegetables. And this vertical farming is a clear example of this combination of the natural wisdom, the wisdom of nature that we know, and blended with the best technology to cultivate this pure, fresh, of course, 100% traceable plant extracts that deliver the greatest benefit on the skin. And using this approach, this is what Shiseido has done to create the brand Olé. And we know that the consumer today, it's a really savvy consumer. They love this idea of blending science and nature for good. Good for us, for our skin, and for the planet. And as we always suggest, educate the consumers. Let them know. Be transparent, because they really want to know.
Yeah, they sure have the interest. But do you think that integrating concepts like an ecosystem, right? Everyone knows what an ecosystem is, with symbiotic relationships, which are things that some people know about or have heard about. Do you think that integrating these well-known concepts will help understand the benefits of biotechnology to the final consumers, or that will help them somehow understand the correlation between science and nature a bit more? Sometimes they are still perceived as opposites here.
Yeah, but Clara, as I was mentioning, education is everywhere, fortunately, today. And this concept, this relationship, this correlation, it's something that consumers understand perfectly well right now. At the end, nature is chemistry. Nature is billions of chemical reactions. It's physics. It's science. But again, today brands have so many different channels to contact their customers, all the social media that are really important and relevant to use to educate the consumers, to inform them, to answer their concerns, their curiosities. And the fact is that we, thanks to all this social media, we already know what consumers want and which are their concerns.
Totally. And also, talking about understanding from the consumer and educating them, how is the microbiome trend evolving in the cosmetics world? Because I believe that while researchers are still trying to unlock a better understanding of the skin microbiome, recent studies show inconsistencies in current research practices are slowing down the process in this field. I mean, scientists have identified that more diverse data sets are required to account for individual differences and external factors that can affect the skin microbiome, such as ethnicity, gender, age, and the environment. So what's new here, would you say?
Well, you know, Clara, all this conversation around the microbiome started maybe 7-8 years ago. I can't remember exactly because time goes by so quickly. But then at that time, many brands launched products around the microbiome. Okay. The problem was that the consumer didn't know what's the microbiome, and at the end, which was the benefit on their skin. So at that time, many launchings failed. We know many brands that launched products that didn't succeed. And some other brands changed the approach in the communication, focusing on these benefits. For example, we've seen an evolution in Korea and China, where microbiome is very much linked to the barrier, while in Japan, it's related to protection and moisture. In Japan, you know that it's a top science country, and some brands have started to unveil the relationship between some bacteria and skin brightness, which, you know, all this brightness, lightness, whitening is a top concern there.
Yeah.
So, also, we are still seeing how ferments are extremely popular in Asia. And as you have mentioned, the microbiome is so varied, and it depends so much on the area of the body and all the other parameters that you have mentioned, that now brands are starting to use a word that I think it's really convenient here, which is balance, because everything it's about, having a healthy microbiome, it's about keeping the balance amongst the different bacteria present.
Yeah, totally. And it has to be understood as a whole and not just looking at specific parameters, right? Well, in this regard, and also looking at the market side, maybe, where we see that more and more beauty shoppers have been purchasing from beauty brands that promote diversity. Do you think that we could unite those two facts and to have a potential way to go to with the microbiome in products or brands with the skin microbiome diversity, adding this microbiome diversity to the inclusive beauty discussion?
It is absolutely really a great idea because it's a different approach to communicate this microbiome complexity that we are mentioning. And really, you cover all skin types here. And at the same time, it's easy to understand. So it does not require a lot of complex education, etc. And this diversity, this inclusive discussion, I can easily imagine a funny TikTok video about microbiome diversity that it's really educating the consumers.
Yeah, sure. I also believe that this approach will appeal to those already interested in the category, right? And but also, as you said, to sway to new buyers because it's easy to educate them and make them explore this space. Well, anyway, coming back to the relation with nature, we know that right now as city spaces get filled with pollution, well, people's motivation to break away from the overcrowding and stress has increased, right? So nothing but to increase. So consequently, the new nature seeker consumer not only escapes into the countryside, but is also eager to explore nature experiences like camping, fishing, or gardening, right? From the comfort of our own homes, as well as other sensory experiences that don't require being immersed in the wilderness. Experiences such as making use of nature sounds and aromas or mood-enhancing self-care products. Actually, there's a whole science now that backs the positive impact of nature experience in people's well-being. Have you heard of ecopsychology? Is it something, this science, this ecopsychological science, is it something that the cosmetic sector is already using in their new products?
Well, ecopsychology has always been there, but maybe not exactly using this word, but if you think about, for example, the forest bathing in Japan, that is so popular, that it's about going to nature, enjoy nature, etc. It's something really ancient. It's an ancient strategy to feel better. And also the fragrances we use, not only in the beauty industry, but in other industries that make you feel good, like flower essences or sea breeze, etc. So this is very much ecopsychology. I would say that right now there is a super cool texture that has become really popular. We see many launchings that is very much aligned with this trend, with this ecopsychology, which are the cloudy textures. You can imagine like fluffy, super soft textures that mimic the appearance of clouds. And the brands are using the word cloud in the naming of the products. And you can imagine that our products that kind of make you feel in the sky, comfortable, cozy, soft.
Yeah.
Herbivore, for example, it's a brand that has a beautiful range of products that it's called Pink Cloud. And remember, in my last trends presentation, I was talking about formulations that use the claim friction-free. Yeah. And these kind of cloudy textures are perfect to avoid this barrier disruption and for a super soft application.
Yeah. So for what you say, brands are bringing new ways even that go beyond aromas or these to have an ecopsychological experience to the consumers with a formula that emanates nature. So, well, that would sure appeal to me, believe me. Well, changing topics now to go to one of the hottest market categories, barrier care. It's also one of these things that have been there for a long time, but now are rapidly evolving and becoming a trending topic again, right? Do you have any examples of very niche or disruptive brands and products that are tackling it with an innovative approach?
For sure, barrier care has become already a category itself. So we are witnessing a lot of launchings because, as I always mention, it's a concept that it's so easy to understand for the consumers. You don't need a lot of education, etc. And from the big number of launchings that we have seen, I personally love the communication of one brand that it's called Skin Proud. In fact, the brand, it's called I'm Proud, but they have 3 ranges: Skin Proud, Hair Proud, Body Proud. And the naming, I mean, however your skin looks like, you must be proud of it. It's great. It's really inclusive, etc. It makes you feel good. The fact that in their communication also they use very diverse people. I suggest you to visit their website. People even with some skin illnesses like vitiligo, so extremely diverse. And they have a specific product called Secure the Barrier that says it all. And it's a great naming and it's very easy to understand. But we now are starting to see all this barrier claim even in cleansers, so in a rinse-off product. So I came across this product by Rock, the French brand, Barrier Renew Gel to Foam Cleanser. So it's a changing texture, and they also claim that hydrates and balances the skin barrier.
Wow. Well, very related with this skin barrier are some hot trends that are appearing in social media sometimes. Well, and I know that you are following the latest trends not only in the store, in the stores all over the world, but also in social media. And then I was wondering if you also find that the well-known slugging trend is very much related to this barrier care thrill nowadays.
Of course, Clara, all this slugging thing is about these very thick occlusive formulas. Some of them also create these threads that are so TikTokable that we can see everywhere. Mm-hmm. And all these formulas are packed with ingredients that reinforce, protect, and balance the barrier. And as you know that all these trends that start in TikTok, some of them will remain for a while, some of them will evolve, some of them will stay longer. In this case, let's say mainly all this thread thing will be just a short lasting trend. And that's why we already see an evolution of this slugging to micro slugging. So we see this semi-occlusive effect, formulas that are not that thick. And as usual, TikTok is the place where many of these trends expand, are created, and also the perfect place to educate. As we are mentioning, short videos, music, fun are, I would say, the best strategy for education. And of course, many brands today are using it.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a great way. Well, in fact, thanks to these new kind of ways of educating, now some consumers understand that using a highly occlusive product as a final skincare step will prevent transepidermal water loss and improve the efficacy of skincare ingredients applied underneath these final layer, right? Do you know any examples of brands or products that are using such, technical wording, I would say? I mean, words like transepidermal water loss, lipid barrier, endogenous ceramides, or really anything related with aging with the barrier care in a more scientific way?
Okay. First, the transepidermal water loss is one of the classic measurements related to barrier hydration. Everybody's using it. It's very easy to measure. And that's why consumers already know it and are used to it. Then, in the case of the ceramides, we know that we are used to see many brands that add these ceramides directly in the formulation as an ingredient, isn't it? But a better option, as you have mentioned, is to talk about the endogenous ceramides, like one of our actives, Hydrofence, is doing, that it helps to increase our own ceramides. And then you are sure that these molecules, these ceramides, that are quite big, by the way, will be in the right place. An example of a range of products that is using our Hydrofence, it's the American brand Peter Thomas Roth that has, by the way, a cloud cream that has a very long name, water drenched hyaluronic cloud rich barrier moisturizer. Wow. Impossible to remember. But they use this Hydrofence and they claim this endogenous synthesis of ceramides. And now with our Shiloxome on the market, when the super complete lipidomics test, analysis, all this scientific data that we have, brands can go one step further in terms of talking about the ceramides and the synthesis of ceramides and lipids.
Sure.
And the lipids that we are mentioning, we know, consumers also know because brands have been educating, that are an essential part of the barrier and that are extremely important in the structure of the skin. For example, we have found another cleanser that it's called Hue Your Skin Gentle Cleanser Emulsion. I love the name also. That clearly states that the product is gentle on the skin's natural lipid barrier. So again, we see a cleanser. So brands are like daring to communicate this even in rinse-off products.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, a handful of ingredient options now could help elevate these trends into a more educational tool. Right. Well, I just want to highlight, though, the role Shiloxome could have here with this type of products in the barrier care category. Not just because it's our latest launch and is specifically targeting the new barrier care category, but also because we know that the consumer keeps on learning, and for sure they are more exquisite with their choices now. So with Shiloxome, we are going beyond barrier care thanks to its multi-omic effectivity studies that broadly prove its shielding effect. Well, long story short, Shiloxome, which is, by the way, coming from an endophyte living inside the bark of a coracoke, takes the protective power of its symbiotic origins in nature to provide the skin with the capacity to adapt, to survive, and to protect itself. And, well, our R&D team have been able to prove that, it acts on all key areas of the skin barrier. Meaning, first, by exposomic research, we proved that Shiloxome shields the skin from environmental pollutants, and it maintains the microbiome diversity that we were mentioning before with the inclusivity trend, right? So this product is protecting the most external barrier firstly. Plus, through the robust reinforcement of the whole lipid barrier that is evidenced by the comprehensive lipidomic study that you just mentioned, this product ensures an improved moisture retention and enhanced brick and mortar epidermal function, another word that is surely more and more known for the savvy consumer.
Exactly.
And finally, it is also validated by compelling transcriptomics data. And thanks to this last study, we know that this active ingredient, Shiloxome, stimulates crucial cellular processes regarding the extracellular matrix, which is fostering a youthful and healthy dermis. Therefore, Shiloxome orchestrates a symphony of natural elements and science to deliver a comprehensive multi-omic protection for the skin, while adhering to the principles of the evolving field of holistic barrier care that we have been mentioning.
Yeah, for sure. Shiloxome, it is the great choice for brands to upgrade all these products, all these kind of products that are around the barrier that we have been mentioning, clearly.
Yes. Yes, Anna. Well, thank you very much. We've come to the end of this conversation. Thank you very much for your specific insights and, as always, interesting examples. We hope that our listeners have enjoyed this conversation as much as we did, right?
Thank you. See you soon.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Provitalks. We hope you got some source of inspiration to create and spread your own kind of beauty. For further information, subscribe to our podcast or visit our website at weareprovital.com. Provital. Do care.